Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. We've got a busy day of Twilight Struggle today. I've got a silver playoff game to start things off. Ted Livermore, Brad McCoy, a couple of very strong players going at it in a silver playoff game. There's just a best of one series there. Later on today, 3:30 Eastern, I'll go live with J.R. Jones to reveal the field and the draw for Atlantic League 2024. So for you Atlantic League participants and anybody else who's curious about 2024 Atlantic League, hope you'll tune in, maybe make fun of me for my failure to win any playoff games in the first three seasons. And then following that, the main event, 8 p.m. Eastern, right back here. I've got my first game and maybe my second game. We'll see how long and emotionally exhausting the first one is, of the ITSL playoffs against David DiCarlo. David has won 2 rounds already. I got a couple of buys. David started in the first round, beat a couple of good players, Rami and then Pavel, to get here. David knocked me out of the ITSL playoffs 2-0 in my first season. And I am 0-8 in my last 8 playoff games. So hoping that turns around tonight. But enough of me talking. Let's get to it. So we've got Ted and we've got Brad, the real McCoy of Canada in this one. And as always on these, we'll be watching from Ted's point of view. So we've got Ted and Brad in a best of one silver playoff series. Ted was knocked out by Craig Richards in the first round of the ITSL main playoffs. And so looking for a little bit of redemption in silver. Brad did not qualify for main playoffs. And so here we have it. So this is Ted's hand, a pretty good one. He's got D-Stall. He's got Defectors, although he almost certainly will be headlining Middle East instead. Not a huge amount of ops here, but plenty for what he needs. He's got 18 ops. That's right about average for an early war hand. And a Middle East headline should net him 4 VPs. Brad goes with the 1 in Austria. So obviously D-Stall will be the hold card unless we see blockade. And there's captured Nazi. So Brad will pull back a couple of those VPs. And we're having a little choppiness here in the video. I apologize for that. Brad tries the coup, standard play there, and he rolls a 5, gets a big roll on Iran. And Ted without Vietnam or decall will certainly be spreading. I would expect we'll just see Lebanon and Malaysia here. That's exactly what we do see. Normally this would be a time for the USSR to go to space. But with CNS already evented, that's not necessary. I would expect to see a couple in South Korea. Yep, and that's exactly what Brad does. Ted is not going to go to space here, I have to think. So I wonder if we'll see a coup or if we'll just see a filling of France. Yep, that makes sense too. Certainly Brad would have dumped Europe there if he had it. But filling France makes all kinds of sense. That was an obligation, had to be done by the end of turn 1. Okay, Sock Govs. Yep, Brad wanting to make sure that Ted goes UK for the 3rd. I wonder if that means he has special relationship. Normal play there would be West Germany. But okay, Ted not going to waste any time here. He's going to use all 4 ops in Europe. A little bit awkward for Ted. He needs to coup, and then he's just got a couple of 1-op plays. Now, sock govs for ops is not the play of a man who has decall, so I'd be very surprised if Brad were to have decall here. Okay, this should just fill South Korea. No. That's interesting. So he goes with a poke of West Germany with France already at 4. I don't understand that. Maybe he must really be convinced that Ted has the scoring. If so, that'd be great for Ted. That's a little bit of a waste of ops here. Okay, EEU. And Brad gonna go. Oh, interesting. Okay, we're gonna block Dom that way by taking Greece and Turkey. Okay, I think Ted really doesn't have a choice. Okay, so all right, Ted gonna take Portugal to reestablish Dom. Now he's in an awkward position with just a 1-op and needing to coup for mil-ops or risk losing 3 VPs here. I think I would have ignored that if I were Ted, but okay. I expect now we might see another poke of West Germany in case he thinks Ted has the scoring, which he's been playing like he thinks Ted has the scoring. Yep, and that's exactly what we do see. And Ted's just going to, I assume, take a coup and save 2 VPs. He could use the event. He could use the Truman event, but that forfeits 3 VPs. Now oh, well, it actually only saved him 1 VP, so never mind that. Maybe the event would have even been better to take 2 out of West Germany. But okay, DEFCON going to go to 4. Ted gets blockade, which I'm sure he's not happy about. Duck, not particularly helpful here. But he does get purge, which he's happy to see. Blockade's going to dump D-stall, and then Ted's got some ops to play with here. France already at 5, thanks to Ted's overprotection and the special relationship op. So Ted's certainly going to... I have to think Ted will trigger de Gaulle rather than spacing him. Or at least I hope that he will. And there's VR, okay. So now we'll see what Brad does. He's purged, so he can still get the Vietnam bonus. But now the purge will neuter that. I have to imagine he will just take Thailand here. Oh, no. No, just going to score Asia. And that makes a lot of sense while purged. So take your 5 VPs. Brad knew that Defectors was gone. And yeah, I like this play from Ted. Take Europe Dom and take Thailand as well. Now, if Brad wants to use a 5-op China card to coup Thailand after it's scored, he can. If he doesn't, I suspect we'll see a coup from Ted so that Brad can't do it again. So that Brad doesn't get another opportunity at it. Wonder if we'll just see Lao. Yeah, just going to go Lao. It's an important country. Okay. I would just take a coup. You could coup Lao if you really wanted to, if you're Ted. Or you could just take a coup of Iran, which I don't hate. Okay, Ted coups Lao, picks up a couple of mil-ops, clears it out. So he rolled a 2 there. So Brad got to decide whether he wants to go back in. Okay, they're going to event Romanian. Interesting. All right, Independent Reds is gone. That means Ted has to spend 2 more ops in Canada if he wants to get Dom back. Romanian's a good event there. Both players fighting for Europe Dom. Yeah, and then Ted going to take Lao. I suspect now we may see a coup of Lao from Brad. Oh, gonna coup. Wow, gonna coup with Nasser. It's an important event, especially with Egypt empty. But I guess maybe not as important with DEF CON sitting at 4. Say Ted going for a 1-op coup in Lao to pick up another mill-op. He flips it over. And now so Ted with just a 1-op play from UN left, and then he's got De Gaulle. Could trigger De Gaulle, which, I mean, I think you do trigger De Gaulle, particularly with France at 5, and you can repair it. Okay, and there's Suez for another coup on Lao. Wow, back and forth on Lao with Asia scored. So yeah, Ted has a 1-op. Another, jeez. And here we go. Okay, that should settle the Lao coup war. And Ted is now good on mill-ops, both players with enough. And Ted now with De Gaulle to finish his turn. NORAD's got to go to space. And Brad will hit the roll. So De Gaulle, I think, is evented. And then you've got to put at least 1 back. I would put 2 back with Europe coming. And then Burma is not crazy here. I like Burma. Yeah. Yep. Hope Max Goldman's watching because I like that Burma play. Okay, here we go. Turn 3. We've not seen D-Call. D-Stall is now in the reshuffle. We've not seen D-Call. We've not seen Europe. DEF CON at 5, and Ted gets neither. So Korean War, Fidel gets containment as well. So Brad with Marshall, and Ted redraws defectors and US Japan. So defectors is an interesting headline here, but containment is not necessarily great because you want to space Fidel and you've got 2 4-ops. So containment really, assuming you space Fidel, is only going to get you 4. But Ted doesn't want to headline, but yeah, he doesn't want to headline defectors because if Brad did not redraw 5-year plan, or a Europe attack card, he will probably just headline. Europe is a very reasonable headline here, so Ted doesn't want to take that chance. Now, Brad also might not want to headline Europe because Ted could headline EEU in theory. Yeah, this is a little bit of a tough call. Okay, and there's CIA. So Ted, that was a redraw, I believe. Okay, there's Europe. Okay, no Europe attack cards. A little surprised to see a CIA headline. I would have thought you could just go Europe, but maybe he's afraid of EEU, even though EEU doesn't cost him presence. Okay, pretty good hand though, other than Europe. Gonna give up 5 VPs to Europe, but he does get D-Call. Wonder if this is a Vietnam coup. Nope, just gonna take a 2-op coup of Iran. Rolls a 3. Now I wonder if we'll see a big Thailand coup. just going to go influence. Oh, needs, obviously, yes. Okay, needs to repair that because Ted could have Middle East. All right, yeah, Ted wants to attack Pakistan here. Yep, I like Algeria as well. I'm also, yeah, I am a little surprised by the CIA headline. I don't know that there was a need to get rid of it that quickly. I guess he wanted to get rid of it because he's got decall in his hand, and decall is known. Okay, special. I would imagine this will just take Pakistan. No. Just take South Korea. I don't believe we saw IP war in Brad's hands, so yeah, I think just taking Pakistan makes sense here. Very surprised to see Brad not taking Pakistan. Okay, Ted's gonna, wow, Ted wants to put 4 in Pakistan. This I don't understand. I don't understand why you put 4 in Pakistan, because a coup, if Brad's gonna coup in Asia, he's gonna coup Thailand. So I don't know why. I don't think Ted needed to put a 4th in Pakistan. All that does is draw attention to Thailand. Okay, we're going to see a 3-op coup where? I assume Thailand, right? I missed it, and I guess he rolled a 1 because I did not see the roll. Okay. All right, well, now Ted has Asia Dom, and Brad's still sitting with decall in his hand and with Europe in his hand. He's got 3 ARs left, so one play's got to be decall, one play's got to be Europe, and then he's got an ops play. He's got his mill ops. I suspect we'll see Ted let Korean War go here. Under containment. I think I'd just dump Europe here if I were Brad. Brad knows that Ted is under containment. He knows he has Korean War, which is not quite guilt-free, but almost. So he knows he's got to give up this domination. Nope, going to take a coup in Panama. All right, yep. Wants to take the last coup. And a big roll there, gets a 5. So he does have access there on the left side of the board. And now Ted, for his part, needs to get into Angola. I'd also like to see Ted get into Egypt. Okay, yeah, Korean War hits. Nasser is around. Middle East is unscored. I'd like to see 2 Egypt from Ted here. Saharan doesn't do much because decall's definitely going into Nigeria anyway. And I don't know that we're flipping. I don't know that we're flipping Nigeria on our AR5 because I really want to get into Egypt and Libya. Okay, this has to be decall. Nigeria, Zaire, maybe Angola, and maybe Thailand. And then Ted will repair. Maybe go 1 Angola, 1 Thailand, 2 Egypt. And then on AR6, he can take Libya and Mexico. Nigeria, Zaire are no-brainers. Goes Indonesia and Burma. Don't know that I understand Burma. Thinking about maybe a jam of India later. Man, I, I really want to see Ted get into Egypt and Libya. I like the second in Angola. I'm fine with that. I like the second in Indonesia to take it back. Those two were good, but the third and fourth I would put in Egypt. Then Brad has to dump the scoring, right? Or did he have? And then the sixth one has to go Egypt, Libya. Okay, there's a scoring, but now you can't get into Libya. Yeah, you only get Egypt. Yeah, so that's why I would have liked to see AR5 be Egypt instead of Mexico. Then AR6 could be Mexico and Libya. But okay, we got two in Egypt. Take South Africa. That makes sense. We have Africa Dom. So the VP track, pretty even at this point, and the board looks pretty good for Ted. D-Stall is around, but D-Call in the discard. Ted with a comfortable Asia domination here. Although, worth mentioning, US Japan is now in the discard, so Brad could take Japan and get domination out of it. Okay, a pretty darn good hand for Ted here. He's got IP War for Millops. He's got CRG to disrupt things in Africa. He's got cultural. He's got cultural and Nixon, and then perhaps the best of all, Panama to get him into South America. So this is a great hand for Ted. Okay, South African. Well, now Ted's got to put one in Angola, but he's fine with that. Okay, yeah, and just break those, and this way South African doesn't break either South Africa or Angola. Yeah, and Brad's got a choice. He can coup if he wants to, but then he's losing Nigeria and Zaire, or he can repair Nigeria and Zaire, in which case he's losing one of those. Coup with. Okay, coup of Zaire. Guaranteed success, and he hits the roll. So, okay. I think I would have couped Angola there. Obviously, you don't want to roll a 1, but that way Ted has to have a 4-op to repair, to save both of those countries. If you coup Angola and you flip it over, then Ted's got to have a 4-op to put 2 in Nigeria, 2 Zaire, and flip them both. If he only has the 3, he can't overprotect both, and then Brad could in turn flip 1 back. But okay. Brad goes to the safe play, coup Zaire. Ted, I'm sure, just really didn't want to see Junta there, and he did not. So now, Brad, I suspect if Brad has Allende, we would have seen it already. Okay, and a quick Sadat, always annoying for the U.S. Nasser is in the deck. Yep, goes to Saudi Arabia, and then Ted says, okay, if you've got Brush or you've got ABM, now's the time. UN of OAS, okay. So tough hand here for Brad. He started with a couple of 2-ops, now a couple of 1-ops. And if I'm Ted, I'm just immediately spreading into Brazil. Yeah, I think this is correct. Yeah, Brad at this point with no good regions. Brad's down in Asia. He's down in Southeast Asia. Middle East and Central are even, and then he's well behind in Africa and Europe. So it's going to be a tough path back for Brad, even though he's up on the VP track. Ted does have a path to Mill-Ops with IP War. And I suspect we'll see Ted trigger the Nixon event as well. Brad looking at the board here and probably wondering what his next play is going to be, because this is pretty dire for him. Again, taking Japan with China is quite reasonable. However, with Formosan in effect, Ted can respond by just taking Taiwan. Well, spacing VOA, always a good decision, and he misses on the roll. I think Nixon event makes sense now. Yep, there it is. Okay, going to space again. Nothing Ted can do, but he misses both rolls. Now Ted should space Fidel. And Ted will hit on that roll. Okay, so Ted's going to hold We Will Bury You. IP War will be an event to save Mill-Ops, and then I suspect nuclear test ban will go into Uruguay on AR-7. Okay. Yeah, Ted is not going to believe that Brad has Middle East scoring. He tries IP War, hits it, so 4 VP play there. And NTB, I suspect we'll see 2 Libya, 2 Uruguay would be my play. Brad decides to fill up Saudi and take Middle East Dom. Okay, yeah, this should be... I have to think we'll just see Libya and Uruguay, right? Yep, this makes all the sense in the world. Okay, so very nice turn 4 for Ted, as we thought it might be looking at his hand. And here's turn 5. Okay, we've got some serious garbage here. Southeast Asia is nice to have. An active kitchen is nice to have. Puppets is sort of nice. OPEC's going to space. And then, yeah, you got Allende, which I guess, unless you play China, you're probably going to have to give. So Ted likes to headline missile envy as the U.S. I don't think it's perfectly safe, though. And with Ted having a huge lead, Ted has 4 dominations on the board right now. I don't know that he wants to risk even the slight chance of a missile envy loss here. But his hand is garbage. So we'll see if he decides to do that. Decides to go with kitchen. – Southeast Asia is also not bad. Brad certainly will be headlining Junta if he has it. ABM if he has that. Brush is quite reasonable if he has that. Haven't seen any of those so far. Okay, Ted. Yeah, Ted gonna pass on Missile Envy, and there's Junta. But Ted now gets one into Chile and Argentina before the Junta. Yeah, I think Taiwan is fine. I suspect we'll just see two Argentina, coup Argentina. Or perhaps we'll see a coup of Mexico, depending on what scorings. Yeah, just, he's gonna go for coup of Venezuela. Well, it doesn't matter, rolls at 2. So we will bury you in Ted's hand. I believe Flower Power and Muslim Revolution still around. So good targets for Missile Envy. But yeah, I think even Ted, who likes to risk Missile Envy, didn't want to do it here. Okay, so Brad is able to get into South America. And Ted wondering how hard he wants to contest that. Yeah, so he went one. Ted, you just went one Taiwan. And now I don't know. Taiwan doesn't matter anymore if you're going to play China. You're also going to probably have to give up Allende. Okay, now I suspect Brad will want to take Peru. If Brad has a 4, he'll take Peru and Uruguay. He does not, so he'll probably just take Uruguay. Yeah. Okay. Ted with not a lot of ops here. I think Kitchen's fine. Yep, start just getting rid of some obligations here. We will bury you is now spaceable with Missile Envy in our hand. Probably holding Lone Gunman and OPEC and giving Allende. Yeah, I don't know. I might have conceded Chile. Although I don't know. I guess there's no better use of the China card here. But yeah, might have conceded Chile. We had Gunman, we will bury you, and OPEC in hand. So I guess we were playing China regardless. Yeah, this makes sense. And that stops Dom as well. Missile Envy for a coup makes sense because you've got to get your mill ops. So I think this is fine. Oh, and a big roll. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Playing China here makes sense. He had to do it regardless. Okay, a realignment of Chile. Oh, and a big miss. Another miss. Wow, that is horrific. That is horrific. Tough rolls. So saves the 4-op for that realign. I think I would have used it right away to take both Peru and Paraguay. Okay, Ted going to play OPEC, give up the 2 VPs. Maybe thinking about holding Allende? I don't know. Allende's not that bad. There goes green to space. Brad going to try for the 3rd time to hit that roll, and he will not do it. So I expect we'll see southeast. Oh, yes, of course. We have to space to stop the double. Ted hits the roll. Brad still needs his mill ops. Gonna to take a coup to stop Africa Dom. Yeah, I don't think Ted's going to respond to that. I think you just dump the scoring. Right? Boy, I really don't like playing a scoring on my last AR. Ted could flip over Iran, but Muslim unseen. I don't suspect we'll see that. All right. Oh, Ted's on the stream. Wrong, Justin. Okay, so Ted's going to retake Africa Dom. We'll see if Brad has the scoring. I do not believe that Brad has the scoring. He's ignored Africa this entire turn, and he coots Saharan to get his mill-ops. But okay. Okay, Ted. And we're going to get Guatemala as well. Okay. Oh, come on. All right. All right. Nice play, Ted. Ted always in our team games. Ted always better at reading what the opponent has. So good for him. I would have just taken my 3 there and moved along. Okay. So better hand here. We've got 6 3-ops and 3 1-ops. You've got Kennedy you can use to get rid of gunmen, but I don't know. With this board, I'm not anxious to do that. I think I'd rather headline Bear Trap and then get rid of gunmen completely. Or, obviously, Cuban Missile Crisis will do the same job. Cuban Missile Crisis will accomplish the job actually probably much better. Fidel is gone, although Libs is around and would make a ton of sense as a headline here. Yeah, so CMC is great if you don't run into Libs. I like Bear Trap. Yeah, I like Bear Trap. Oh, just Nasser to reestablish Middle East Dom. Okay. Yeah, this is good. I suspect we will... Oh, misses on the roll. Now Ted wondering what he can do. So he's got all manner of getting out of gunman. He could get out of it right now on AR1. Could use CMC to get out of it. He can use Salt to get out of it. Can use Kennedy to get out of it. And he's just going to take a big coup, take a big swing at Panama. And looks like rolled a 3, which is not good enough to flip it, of course. But with Brad still in the trap. Oh, and he misses again. This is a brutal swing for Brad. Yep, now that makes sense as well. You can hold both Kennedy and gunman after you event Salt. Okay, well, Ted not going to do that. Ted going to, wow. All right, a little surprised to see that. A little surprised to see Ted play Salt for ops. I would be nervous with this big a lead, with an 11 VP lead and 5 dominations on the board. I would be very nervous to use Kennedy to dump gunman and then hope that it doesn't come back, especially given that I don't have a China card. So this is a little aggressive for me, but all right. Yeah, and Ted, I don't know. I'm not sure. So Ted put 4 into Egypt, but Muslim was still around. I would have played this differently, but okay, Ted. Oh, and there's Libs and Quagmire. One of those got to get held, I assume. Although I wonder if we'll see a How I Learned event on AR7. Okay, Brush is going to go where? South America. What scoring does he have? Going to go Pakistan and miss by 1 pip. I think you just space here. I think you just space here. Libs is fine. Hold Quag. Space it next turn. So it doesn't come back and we don't get purge quagged. Some kind of endless thing. Okay, Ted does space libs, which is what I would have done, and misses on the roll. So now, okay, how I learned not nearly as good here. I assume this takes Iran. And so how I learned poke, I was going to say that. Yep, I was going to say a poke of Egypt makes sense here. Force Brad to come up with a 3-op to take both Egypt and Libya. Ted going to get dominated here in the Middle East, but he should score a presenceless dom in Central. He should score dom in South America, Asia as well. Yep. Okay, and Brezhnev. Could do any number of things. Could jam Argentina. That was my first thought. And Ted loves jamming stuff. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to do. Okay, so still need to see ABM. And Ted going into turn 7 with 5 dominations on the board, and 3 of those are unscored. Ted gets South America, and he gets Middle East. Also gets the Pope, EEU. Usuri, very nice to get, I'm sure, for him. In fact, that might be my headline. Can't headline Duck with We Will Bury You in the reshuffle. Brad gets Central and Asia. Not particularly nice redraws here, but an easy space of Quagmire. And this might be a situation where Ted is going to try and hold Middle East to AR7. I think because Ted can get 5 out of South America, and he can get 5 out of Asia, which is enough, and to say nothing of Central. So Brad's certainly headlining ABM, one would think. ABM probably going to go to Thailand, would be my guess. Stop Asia Dom. I think a South America headline is fine here. That's 6. That's 6 VPs. It gets you to 17, puts you on the doorstep. Oh, D-stall. Okay. So D-stall will take... So that still doesn't stop Dom. D-stall can take Argentina back and it could go Bolivia, but that's still Ted with 5 countries to just 4 for Brad. So D-stall can make some noise in Central. Can't do anything in Asia. I'm not sure what D-stall does. I guess D-stall could go to Argentina. It could go into Cuba. Could go into Israel, potentially, to try and get a control off there. Yeah, could just go to Argentina and to Cuba. To Argentina and 1 Cuba and 1 Israel. Okay, there's ABM for the event. And what are we going to see? A coup of Panama here? Coup of Thailand? Oh, he does take the coup of Thailand. He flips it. Okay, big roll there. Okay, Bert the Turtle for the event is an interesting play here. I would be strongly considering a Bert event to get yourself to 19 VPs. And then you just got to hang on in Central. Yeah, I would absolutely be eventing this and planning to hold Middle East to AR7. Yep, Olympic event also possible, but and that would presumably jam Thailand or take Cuba. I guess Olympic event taking Cuba makes sense. But yeah, I like no. Okay, yeah, he does go for the event. Yeah, I like this play. I like the guaranteed 3 VPs. Yeah, Olympic event makes sense, but you could, yeah, it could get boycotted, in which case you don't get the VPs, or it could get, or you could lose the role. Okay, so Brad now with 18. So I suspect this is, I think Ted spaces for the win here, right? You just space for the win. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. So nice win for Ted over Brad. Yeah, and a tough game for Brad. Brad eats a domination in Africa. He eats a domination in South America. And he has to suffer one in Europe on turn 3. Middle East, a region that Brad was, the one region Brad was ahead in, scoring just doesn't come, and Ted's able to win before the scoring comes out. And then Brad also, Brad gets away with Asia for +1 because of a late ABM, but a tough game for Brad in the mid-war regions. Got dominated in all 3. So anyway, thank you all for watching. We'll try and bring you Ted's next silver playoff game. But we've got more Twilight Struggle to come later today. I've got the Atlantic League draw here at 3:30, and then at 8 o'clock, we'll be back for game 1 of my ITSL playoff series against David DiCarlo. So hope you will join me then, and that I have better luck than when I had the last time I played with him. But okay. Thank you for watching. See you in a few hours. That was fun, but now it's done. So long, everybody.